Well, it was a safe landing on Mars. Now that NASA's InSight lander has touched down on the surface of the red planet, what's next? David Zura has more.
Touchdown confirmed.
Really exciting, a little nerve-wracking today. If you could see my hands, they're a little shaky.
Mars InSight has safely completed its 6-month, 548 million kilometer journey to the red planet. Scientists, joined by members of the public, watched the NASA livestream closely from the Pacific Museum of Earth at the University of British Columbia as InSight got started on its 2-year mission. Now, this is a very different kind of mission indeed. We're used to seeing the rovers that travel across the surface of a planet and take atmospheric readings and samples of the soil and pictures that they send back. This one, however, is going to stay put.
Which at first blush sounds a little boring and tedious, but in fact it's because this lander needs to deploy some instruments that are extremely sensitive. So it's almost like a meditation. They have to listen very, very quietly for essentially quakes on Mars, for impacts hitting the surface. We use those to image the interior, kind of like a CAT scan, and then also to deploy an experiment that will tap down into the subsurface about 3 meters and measure temperature as a function of depth in that hole, which tells us about the heat that's being lost from the planet.
So you've got a nice model Mars right behind you here. Can you show us on this where that is going to land?
So perhaps we could switch to the topography on here. So handily, we're just coming into the region where we're going to land, right in here.
At the start of the day, I was hoping that it would work, and it worked. When it worked, I felt like so excited.
Thrilled that it happened without any problems.
When they were doing the countdown of the meters, you could hear a pin drop in this room. There was not a peep.
Yeah.
Were you nervous at that point?
Totally. Yeah, the tension was, you cut it with a knife, it was super thick.
Oh, and the first thing InSight did when it arrived on Mars, it sent back this photo. You could call it an InSight selfie. In Vancouver, David Zura, City News.
Super cool story.
I love those science stories, absolutely. We'll keep it science-based, Mary. We'll talk about the big storm that was and what's coming in the following few days.